Don't worry, I've not suddenly become obsessed with the Karate Kid. I have, however, had a hair transplant. So it's happened. Many of you are probably surprised, although I did mention it loads of times. There's a video up on the highlights channel, and we've been talking about it for a couple of years. It's been something I've been thinking of doing, and after today's stream, there is like 1,000 questions that people have and superstitions and all kinds of things about this process. So we'll go through it here. It's not actually that gross. I've just had my first wash with it, so it's there. And you can see I have a hairline. It's going to take a long time for it to actually flesh out. In fact, we're not really going to see the results of this for like a year and a half, but I'll get into that in a moment. So let's start with the first thing. Does it hurt? No. Weirdly enough, I was expecting it to hurt a lot, and it didn't. It really didn't hurt. It's 8 hours long. That's how long it takes to have it done. The aftercare, though, that's the real pain in the ass, and we'll get to that later. But in terms of pain, which a lot of people who are thinking about getting one of these things done, not really. The only time out of the 8 hours I was genuinely uncomfortable was when they were injecting the local anesthetic. But that was for literally less than 5 minutes of the whole 8 hours because they were really clever about how they did it. They have to do the back of your head, so they go in a kind of a circle, and it's like, ow, 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 ow. But then the numbness has happened, and after that you can't feel anything. And the same with the top, because you can see I've had the top done. And later on I'm going to have the back done as well. Why did I want to have this done? Why not just stay bald? I prefer to have hair. It's really as simple as that. When you're bald, you have one choice of hairstyle. Shave it. That's it. And that's all I've been doing for the last like 3-4 years almost. I've been going bald for 12 years, Em.
Probably.
Yeah, Emma's here. She's laughing at me for making this video. But,
I'm laughing at your Cobra Kai.
my Cobra Kai headband, which is going to be here for a couple more days.
It suits you, actually.
Thank you. I'll wear this permanently and I'll become the actual ninja of Twitch. I'm sure that name's not taken. So I wanted to get it done for that. Now, that was my reasoning, but it's different for everybody. In fact, on the first 2 phone consultations and the first face-to-face, they were asking me about the mental side of it. Because some people get really depressed about being bald and, you know, they really have a confidence loss in it. I didn't have that. I was okay. So it was good that they asked me about it. So just be aware of the reasons you might want to get this done. If you're expecting some kind of miracle, that's not going to happen. So it's a case of trying to figure out, are you in a good mental state for this? Or are you trying to like buy something that won't exist? That's going to come down to you. So let's go down to the other thing. Is it like itchy? Yes, it's a little bit itchy, but not a lot. Not to the point that I want to scratch it. Like there's definitely a sensation, but I don't feel like I need to scratch it or anything like that. It's totally fine. I'm not allowed to touch it for 2 weeks, like at all. The best I'm allowed to do is use like finger pads to dab it when I can wash it. And today was the first day I was able to do that, but it didn't do anything. I was hoping to get a lot more of the scabs off because it is scabby, but that didn't happen at all. Let's go through the procedure itself. So arriving, and I have some pictures for you here. Arriving, a good first 45 minutes is just figuring out where you want a hairline. And it's such a strange question. Where do you want it to be? Because the way this thing works is it's a permanent fix, which is another big question we had. Is like, is it just going to fall out again? It's a permanent fix, but it's really down to how you manage the aftercare as to whether it works. Because the process is really not complicated. They're going to take the hair out the back of your head, because if you are a balding person, you've probably noticed the top goes bald, but the back and sides don't. For the most part, that's how it works. And the back and sides of your hair will stay forever. You'll just have this bald line across the top of your head. So all they're doing is going to take that hair and they're going to put it in the front. That's it. They're going to dig it out the back and they're going to stick it in the front. That's as complicated as the procedure is. So that takes, like I said, 8 hours to get done. So the first 45 minutes, they literally take a felt tip board marker and they're just scribbling on your head. And you're sat there with, I ended up with like 3 people in the room. I really wished Emma could have been there, but we had another emergency to take care of on Friday. But it was a case of figuring out where exactly you want it. Now you can see I chose a curve. You could have had it straight. You could have had it whatever you want. As long as it's not in your eyebrow muscles, so they have you raising your eyebrows, you can have the hair wherever you want. So I'm actually getting hair where I've never had hair. I always had a widow's peak, even since being a teenager. Thank you. You're backing me up on that. So this hair, I'm growing this hair, this like line, I've never had that, ever in my life. So I'm kind of excited to see how that comes out. So we spent a long time figuring it out. We don't want it to be perfectly curved because it looked really robotic and weird. So there's some nuance to it. But once that's settled, you have to let your hair grow for 2 weeks before you can have it done. You'll take it into a room where they just shave your head and you've got this board marker on your head. And then you go in to start the procedure. It's a 3-phase procedure. The first one's called harvesting, where they get a massage table. You shove your face in there. They numb you which is just local anesthetic, but it's completely numb. You can't feel anything other than the pressure of somebody doing something. But what I will say is they're numbing a large area of your head. There will be some areas that like are on the fringes of the local anesthetic, so you will feel something at some point. Not painful, but your nerves are sensing something. All you do, and I really recommend you do this, because they told me people just try and like suck it up. Just tell them, it's like, oh, I can feel something there. Not painful, but I can feel something. They'll just go, okay. And they just put some local anesthetic in, and you can't feel a damn thing. So they do that, and then they're harvesting the back of your head. Now, I've got a really cool picture of the back of my head, and you can see how they do this, because another big question is, if they're taking it out the back of your head, that doesn't regrow. That hair is gone. Look at how they do it. You can see how they look at the densest areas, and then they pick out something in the middle. So it will be slightly thinner at the back of your head, but it's not going to be noticeable in any way because the back of your head is really full and really thick. At least in my case, I had a really good back and strong side of the head that made it very easy for them to do. So you can see like the red dots where they've removed the follicles are all surrounded by other hair that's going to cover over that completely. So there will be a little bit of scarring behind the head, but you shouldn't be able to see it. And in fact, the back of my head is recovering scarily well. Like when we took it off, I was amazed at how fine it looks back there. It looks totally cool. I thought it was going to be scabby and horrible, and it's not. So very happy with that. So that takes like 3 hours. It's really boring. A lot of people go to sleep during this. I talked to the guys. I played with my phone because I'm face down. So I had my phones around like the table, so my arms, so I could play with the phone. Emma brought me a Nintendo Switch so I could play games. That's going to take you all the way up until lunch. Then they bring you lunch. I had a sandwich and some fruit and some apple juice. I had my lunch, and then it's phase 2. So phase 2 is the important bit. This is the bit the doctor actually did. So I was expecting the doctor to do it all, but it's not. They have very well-trained nurses. Between my 2 nurses that did mine, they had like 13 years experience. And they are just the guys. They harvest because the doctor doesn't need to do that. The doctor needs to do the channeling bit. This is more important than I realized. This is making the holes where your hair is going to go. And it's crucially important that the channels are in the right direction. Because if they get that wrong, and they put the hair in, and your hair has a natural tendency to lean certain ways, then your hair will grow all weird and have gaps and all kinds of weird stuff. So the doctor, what you're really paying for with this, and we'll get to the price later, is getting that channel right. So that was the doctor, and he told me to shut up because I was talkative. He's like, Mike, just be quiet for a few minutes. I need to focus. I was like, okay. So he focused hard. He got it right, and he was like, that looks really good. I'm really happy with it. He kept saying perfect, which made me feel really good. He was like, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I was like, nice. And then he leaves, and then the nurses come back in. I had 4 nurses. So this time I'm face up. I couldn't play on my phone or anything for this period of time, which really sucked because this was about 5 hours in total. Because they had a huge spotlight on me, I had to have like a paper towel over my eyes that they sellotaped to my forehead. So the light wasn't just shining in my eyes. So at that point, you kind of just lay with your eyes closed. You can go to sleep. Or just talk. And I just talked to them because I had 4 nurses with me who were all implanting the hair in. Now, what you can see is the front is way, way more dense because that's the most important part. I think we'd all agree, right? That's the most important part. That's the line. So there's like 3 times as much hair in that front couple of inches than the bit that they did up to about here.
How many did they put in? 4,000?
It was 4,000 to 5,000 grafts that I had. For this procedure, and the vast majority of it is there because not everything's going to make it. Like, that's just a fact. Not everything's going to make it. It's about getting as much in as possible, and you want that hairline to be right. So they spend... the way they did it with mine is the most senior nurse, Andrea, she just did the hairline. Like, nobody else was allowed to touch it. She just did the hairline. And she spent ages just doing that bit. All the other 3 just did the back and sides, while she just did the front. So once that was done, they kind of just sent me home. That was it. They just sent me home on my way. I got this picture here. This is immediately afterwards. And then they give you the aftercare. Guys, this is where this sucks. Everything I described is the procedure in about 2 minutes. It's really simple. It's really boring. It takes a long time. Doesn't hurt. And then it's time to go home. And this is where the real pain begins. Here's my best friend. Squirty bottle. I have to do that every 20 minutes. For the first 3 days, every 20 minutes, which means you can't really sleep. You're not really allowed to sleep. Now, on my coming home notes, it says 6 hours. You can sleep for 6 hours. But the nurses in the room are like, don't do that. Do it for like 2, and then wake up, set an alarm. When you're really ready to go to sleep, set your alarm for 2 hours, wake up, spritz it again, and then be awake for a bit, spritzing it regularly, then go back to sleep for a couple of hours. So what I've been doing is you have to sleep upright, like literally like this. So I've been sleeping on the couch for the last 3 days, and you literally sit there, you spritz it. Now you guys know you can't just go to sleep as soon as you like, okay, wake me up in 2 hours, now I'm asleep. That doesn't work. So it's like 20 minutes, half an hour of drifting off, trying to get comfortable. You get maybe an hour and a half sleep, then your alarm goes off, then you're cracking a movie on, and you're just watching a movie for a couple of hours, then you're going back to sleep, and that's spritzing every 20 minutes. And that's the hard bit. Really, that's the hard bit. There's no pain. I've had 2 paracetamol since I had this procedure, and that was just because I got a headache because of lack of sleep. It's just spritzing and spritzing and spritzing because you've got to keep them moisturized, you've got to keep them hydrated. But this is the important bit. The procedure is really easy. Dig out, stick in. Whether or not they stay in is really up to you. Like if you start waving your head up and down, they can literally fall out immediately after, right? They're just placed in there. So you've got to be super careful. You can't touch it. You can't do anything. You got to just spray it and spray it. You can't lean over. You can't drink caffeine for the first 2 days. You've got to just be completely relaxed. Like nothing, just relax and let it happen. Luckily for me, I had it done on a Friday, so I had the weekend to kind of just sit. That's why we didn't do any WoW videos, but they should be coming back. Emma did drama time for us, which should be up on the channel tomorrow. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently it was really fun. So that was the way I went with it. How much did it cost? It cost me $4,000, which was payable, that's in pounds, over 6 months. Now I'm having 2 procedures done, all right? Because I had a choice. I could either have everything done at once. In my consultation, I could have it all done at once, but it's going to have problems because, one, it's a massive amount of surface area that's bald. It's all the way from the back, all the way to the front. That's a lot. So there's going to be bits that need fixing later. But if you're in a rush, okay, you can get it done. If you just want to get it done and out the way, go for it, you can do that. My other option of the 3 was that I could have it done, and then in a month or 2 weeks, it was something like that, right? I could come back and then do it again and do the second half. But again, with this, you don't see the full results for you don't see the general idea for 6 months. And you don't see the full results for a year. So they can rush it. And he was like, we can do that, but I'm not going to get you I'm just telling you now, you're not going to get the best result if you do that. If you've got patience and you're okay with it, let's do this. Let's do the front bit. That's the important bit. Then let's leave it alone for 6 months. The back of your head is going to fully recover. We're going to see exactly where we're still really dense at the back, where we can still get some hair super clearly without causing any issues. And we can see if there's anything at the front that didn't take, that maybe we want to look into, and then we could do the crown. And then we'll do another procedure in 6 months' time. And you'll get the absolute best result if you do that. So I was like, I'm not in any rush, right? I'm not in any rush. I've not got some big thing that I need to be on camera for, so let's do it. Let's wait 6 months. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to wait 6 months, then I'm going to go back in, and then they're going to be like, okay, front's fine, or front needs a bit of work, and then let's put the rest in the crown, and we can see where to get it out the back. Am I happy with it? I think so, actually. I'm more happy with it than I thought I would be. I didn't think I'd care this much about seeing my hairline again. I had genuinely forgotten what it was like to have a line across your head, because it had been gone for so long, that when I looked at it first time, I was like, holy crap, I actually have like a hairline. I mean, obviously it's kind of bloody right now.
To me, it looks like you've always had it.
Which I haven't. I mean, you look at the pictures.
I know, but I don't know, but to me, it just looks like you've always had it.
Yeah, but I've not. That's the fact. I haven't. It's really, my forehead's been all the way to the back for quite a while. I mean, there's tufts of hair and stuff, but I'm more than happy with how it looks. And the healing seems to be going really, really well. I haven't swollen up. I haven't felt anything, which is bizarre, because I saw a lot of videos on YouTube about hair transplants where people were just like, the next day you feel like, I said to you, people like feel like they've been 10 rounds with Tyson in the ring and their face is all swollen and they're all mixed up. I didn't have any of that. I feel fine. I feel totally fine. I'm more frustrated with the spritzing, which is a real pain. This is just saline and water. And when this runs out, it's just mineral water. You can't use tap water. You just use mineral water. And that's the whole thing. Like, I'm really, really happy with it. I like how clean the line looks. Again, we'll see exactly how the hair works out there. I like that we can see the density they put into the front to get that working. And obviously the next bit will be the crown. I can show you this here. You can see the crown is nowhere near, nothing's happened to it yet. But it'll be something similar to this. I do have to wear button-up shirts for a while because I can't put a t-shirt on. Overall, it's the aftercare is 2 weeks before I can like touch my head. I can't touch my head for 2 weeks. In that time, it's winding down. Like the sleeping thing should relax a lot more from tomorrow. Should be able to start sleeping relatively normally. Can sleep in the bed again. I can technically do it tonight, but I'm going to take one more night on the couch for safety. Aftercare is everything with this, so why not just put in that one extra day, get it as good as we can. I got to shampoo it today, but all I'm allowed to do is put baby shampoo in my spritzer bottle.
Was you nervous? You fell out your hair?
No, because I just took extra care. Like, I was really hoping for this video to not have all the scabs when I came on camera, because I'm streaming with the camera on tomorrow. But it wasn't happening, because I have to put a little bit of baby shampoo in and then the rest with mineral water and then spray it. But I can't touch it. I can't rub it or anything, because that could rub out the hairs, the grafts that are in there. And it wasn't happening, but then I thought, look, they're scabs, and it's about that patience side of it. They're scabs. They're naturally going to fall out anyway. There will be a gross time where they're like, I'll wake up and there'll be bits of scab on me. That's going to happen, but it's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And then it'll be gone forever. That'll be it. It'll be done. So from that perspective, it's like a few days of hassle. I have no reason to rush this. I would rather just take my time, let it happen. So I will do another update video in 6 months. To see where we are. Obviously, you're going to see over time, because I'm on camera a lot. You'll see, like, over time how it's going. And then, in a year's time, we'll probably look at it again. And then, the final sort of review of this won't be until a year and a half from now. So, like, midway through, like, 2022-ish, it's going to be the time that we actually, like, see how it went. But obviously, we'll naturally see the progress over time as to how it's gone. I'm very happy I got it done. I didn't have a big issue with being bald, but I prefer to have hair so I can make choices. I've always had fun with my hair until it started falling out. So I'm more than happy to have it back. And Emma says I could dye it red again.
I didn't.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.